Breaking news here as we start to go. So excuse me for not greeting you like I normally would, but I'm happy to have you along on a Thursday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. We are in commercial and we'll be coming out soon. The news is not good from the Trump administration today. I'll share it with you here momentarily as soon as the band plays the intro. So thanks for joining us. Well, after 100 days of a lot of things that are good, we have our first, I would say, major bump in the road of the second Trump administration. Just a few minutes ago, reports began to circulate that National Security Advisor Mike Walz is out. He and his top lieutenant no longer part of the Trump administration. This is an issue, of course, that became something a lot of people were calling for when Mike Walz was found to be the conduit through which Atlantic journalist Jeffrey Goldberg was included on the chat on the communications platform Signal, in which Walz and Pete Hegseth and other cabinet officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance, were talking about a military strike on the Houthi rebels. It seemed, since that was probably maybe a month ago, that Walz had withstood the pressure. That apparently was a technological goof up that entered Jeffrey Goldberg on the chat. But let me just say this. This is not good. National security is the number one responsibility of an administration. Number one. Joe Biden let us down in that regard, compromised us on the world stage. We're in a more volatile period now because of that compromise, which traced to the Afghanistan withdrawal. That was the most embarrassing withdrawal in American history, even more so than Saigon at the end of the Vietnam War, which was a time we thought we'd never see again. But instead, the withdrawal from Hamid Karzai Airport was worse. We had soldiers blown up at that airport. And now we've got illegals in the country, and I've told you that I fear a coordinated terrorist attack. So upheaval in national security is not good. We had this in Trump's first administration. Even though Donald Trump has said he later came to regret it, and we know now that it was, a backdoor undermining of Trump, that he was forced to fire or induced to fire his national security advisor then after 24 days. General Michael Flynn, who never should have been fired, who was a true patriot, somebody who would have done a tremendous job in there, but the deep state got to Michael Flynn. And I don't think this is, I don't know what this is. I'm not connected in Washington, D.C. I just draw conclusions from what I see from afar. But it is not good that we have Michael Walz out as national security advisor in the aftermath of Pete Hegseth, our defense secretary, and those two guys need to be joined at the hip, along with Tulsi Gabbard, who oversees all of our law enforcement and national security agencies. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard's job as National Intelligence Director is to oversee all the intelligence agencies, CIA and everything like that. Hegseth has demanded the ouster of, and has actually forced the ouster of, 5 people who were thought to be super loyal to him and to Donald Trump because they were supposedly leaking. Hegseth is under fire. If you listen to some of the same podcasts that I do, some of the same political insiders that I think are pretty well connected, Hegseth is said to be on thin ice. In fact, in an interview, I think it was with Terry Moran of ABC, Trump said Pete Hegseth has to get his act together. Well, you don't want to hear your boss say you got to get your act together. And now Walz is out. And we've got big problems looming with Iran, possibly with Russia, related to, our support of Ukraine and the minerals deal that we just signed, not to mention China and the threat in the Indo-Pacific with Taiwan. So this is a problem. I'm a huge Trump supporter. Love the return to common sense. Love the fact that he's closed the border. But what does this do to our world security? We don't know. There'll be further input, analysis of this, and as it happens and unfolds live, I'll try to bring you voices who are better connected than I am. But this is definitely not good. This is not what you want to see 102 days into an administration in a job that is as important as national security advisor. And let me just say, too, like, Walz was a really consequential member of Congress as a Republican from Florida. Now, I know his seat went to another Republican, so it doesn't mess up our majority. It's not like Walz left to go join the Trump administration, and we got a Democrat in there, which eroded our very thin already majority. But Walz was an effective leader in Congress, and it takes a while for a new congressperson to get up to speed. He's not going to have the influence, the insight, or anything that Michael Walz has. So this is something that concerns me. I will say that this concerns me greatly. Okay, so that's the national news. Let's get to the local news. We had 3 people killed last night in Canal Winchester. This appears to me, even though it's not been labeled as such yet, it sure has all the earmarks of a double murder and then a suicide. 2 men and a woman. Okay, I'm not, I don't think I'm doing any super detective work here to say that this seems like, I'm not reporting this, I'm just saying, what do you think if 2 men are killed, a woman is killed, and the witnesses say there was like a piercing scream after the first round of gunshots? I mean, it obviously sounds like some kind of a love triangle where the guy who committed suicide found out that, his wife, girlfriend, whatever, was with another guy. Maybe he misread the situation. Maybe he was right on the situation. Whatever, if he's right, no, that doesn't justify what he did. So they got 3 adults dead in an apartment complex in Canal Winchester early this morning, just after midnight. Reading from the WSYX 6 website. Police say they received multiple calls stating that a male shot a female and then shot himself. Officers arrived at the scene, found the 3 adult victims suffering from gunshots, 2 males, 1 female, all 3 pronounced dead at the scene. A witness said, we don't know if the witness is a woman or a man. No, it is described as a woman. Said she heard, quote, 2 horrible gut-wrenching screams in between the noise, but I couldn't be sure if it was a gun. That's the crazy part. It sounded like windows were shattered, then a gun. It was weird. It's not even like somebody threw a rock in the window, but I knew something traumatic had happened because of her scream. Okay, there you go. That's horrific. We also have an update from Mayor Andrew Ginther to a story. I'm shouting out Channel 6 a lot at the start of the show today. They actually have a very good website. Sometimes it's woke, but it's usually pretty good, very informative. NBC4 is a good website. Channel 10, lagging behind a little bit. They occasionally have a story that nobody else has. They're all 3 better than the Dispatch, which anything would be, right? Channel 6 keeping the pressure on the story that I shared with you at the top of the show yesterday, and then refreshed at 12:35 about this 17-year-old juvenile, Tamari Stroder, who had committed 2 armed robberies, one in which he stole a gun off a person, and then was taken to juvenile detention, let go the first time on the first day, let go the second time after being detained for a couple of months. He had an armed robbery in July of 2024, was let go right away. Because he's a juvenile. You know, when juveniles stay in jail, they might think they're criminals. Then he committed another armed robbery in August with the gun that he took in July. That one got him locked up temporarily until a juvenile court magistrate, Chris Strayfelt, took it upon himself. Well, maybe not. We don't know if the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office is lying to us, because Channel 6 is trying to discern whether Strayfelt, the magistrate, just let Tamari Stroder out of jail in October on his own, or if the order came from the prosecutor's office and from the public defender's office. The paperwork was not filled out that indicates the prosecutor's office knew anything about it, but we do have a quote from Shayla Favor from just a couple of weeks ago where she says, I'm not looking to lock people up. Obviously, but the problem is Tamari Stroder, after he was let out, either by authorization from the top or from someplace else, just one woke magistrate in juvenile court, went to his girlfriend's house in January, forced her to jump out a window because he threatened to kill her. And now Stroder has learned that he will be tried as an adult and faces 75 years in prison. So here's the mayor yesterday to WSYX6. He says, when young people are committing violent crimes and they're shooting at our police officers, well, I left that part out. Tamari Stroder shot at 4 police officers. They need to be held accountable, Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther said. Ooh, watch it, Andy. You're a heavy man, stepping out on a pretty thin limb there. Young people need to be held accountable? Not in Columbus. That's breaking news. Mayor says juveniles who stole 10,000 cars a couple of years ago, and now, I'll get to it next segment, have new ways, new technological advancements in how to steal cars. Mayor Ginther says the perpetual criminals among our juveniles in the city need to be held accountable. What about the lack of accountability and the mess-ups in the system? Andy Ginther says, the understatement of all time, we have a lot of work to do. Yeah, I'll say.
Salem damaging wind, a high 78. Breezy this evening, a thunderstorm, otherwise cloudy, low to high 61. Variable cloudiness, breezy day tomorrow. A couple of brief showers in the morning. Thunderstorm for the afternoon, high 75. Shower and thunderstorm on Saturday. Periods of clouds and sun by the afternoon, high Saturday at 66. Clouds and showers Sunday, high 66. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
They will resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running, it's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how I've been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He made the commercial on the air. So it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
The following is not an acting, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I'm Claire from Trinity Debt Management. I'm a counselor, and the reason that I love working for Trinity is because I get to help folks with one of the hardest problems a family can face, and that's financial difficulties. In this day and age, everything is going up. You have higher utilities, higher grocery bills, higher fuel, and those credit card interest rates have gone up as well. We can help you with that. We can help you get lower interest rates, lower monthly payments. In just a few minutes, we put together a plan that gets you out of debt and keeps you out of debt. I love my job. It's a great program and a very smart way to find debt relief.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
I'm Claire, a Trinity counselor. Call me and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Feel like you're trying to push a boulder uphill wearing skates? If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be.
If you're a local business and want to see what Salem Surround can do for you, Google Salem Surround Columbus. Remember to Google Salem Surround Columbus today.
Don't settle for less. Your dog deserves the best. That's why we created Dr. Fido's, a plant-based dog food topper packed with 40 ingredients, made with whole foods from carrots to bananas. And the best part, no cooking, no chopping, just stir it into their food. Go to drfidos.com and order today. Veterinarian developed, dog trusted. This is the human-grade dog food topper that gives you peace of mind. Dogs can't write 5-star reviews, but their owners have.
I've always thought that dog food seems like a little bland, and so this helps give it a little bit of flavor, just something interesting for them, and yeah, they really love it. So Yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Spoil them with the best. Call 888-388-PAWS or go to drphytos.com, drphytos.com. And for a limited time, order now and receive a 10% discount with our money-back guarantee by using promo code MikeG.
Hey, I went to 989theanswer.com because I was looking for details on our Mother's Day cash giveaway contest. Can't find them, but I'll investigate that this afternoon and have details on that for you tomorrow. But you know what I did find? I found that Larry Elder, my new friend, Larry sent me an email yesterday in response to my email thanking him for coming. I see that Larry Elder has been named a 2025 Radio Hall of Fame nominee. Well deserved. Congratulations, Larry. And if you enjoyed hanging out with Larry on Friday night at the Dare Dutchman, or if you were regretting that you didn't buy a ticket in time to join Larry Elder, or that you missed the Mike Gallagher event at Lazy Chameleon a couple of months before that, well, guess what? You can join both of them on the Patriots Alaska cruise, August 16th to the 23rd. Wonder if I could squeeze my way onto that cruise. I'd like to hang out on that cruise. You're going to Alaska, you're going to Juneau, Ketchikan, sightsee during the day, and have conservative talk with Larry Elder and Mike Gallagher at night. All the details are at travelwithsalem.com, travelwithsalem.com. Oh, remember, if you're thinking about going downtown this afternoon, don't. Big, massive protest at the State House. No, not protesting the situation at juvenile court that allows guys who shoot at cops, 4 of them, to just get out of jail without anybody signing off on it, or with people signing off on it and not owning it, which could be a distinct possibility. Not to protest the fact that Linden and the Hilltop and the Near East Side and Franklinton all remain devoid of hope under the feckless mayoral administration round 3 of Andrew Ginther, just like it was throughout the feckless round 3 administration of Michael Coleman before that. No, they're coming downtown today at the behest of and encouragement of the Ohio Education Association, Columbus Education Association, and Southwestern Education Association. So 3 teachers' unions. And Columbus police tell Cole Barons of the Columbus Dispatch that they are expecting thousands and thousands of people. There also are May Day protests. I don't know what that's about. But one is scheduled to start at 4 and another at 4:30. And so municipal court is closing at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Juvenile and domestic relations court is closing at noon. And they expect traffic to be bottled up like it is every morning on 270 at various points of the city. Because this traffic bottleneck this afternoon, we can't blame on ODOT. All the others we can. But this one this afternoon, we cannot. Now, I'm not saying these protesters don't have a point. I have told you before that there is an egregiously stupid provision in the budget that was passed by the Ohio House that would penalize public school districts for holding over cash in what the House, apparently unaware of saving for a rainy day or being good stewards of your finances if you see a big expense coming down the road, like, I don't know, buying new buses or buying land for future school buildings if your district's expanding, or fixing roofs on your buildings. They want to penalize districts for carrying over cash in excess of 30% of their previous year's expenditures by cutting the property taxes of residents in that district, which would cause a yo-yo effect in budgeting and would cause school districts to come back to residents for levies more often, which is a bad idea, and hopefully the Senate will stop that. So there are some good reasons to protest this afternoon, but I'm of the opinion there's never a good reason for a traffic jam, and there will be one out downtown this afternoon. Traffic jams are nonsensical. Like, if you have a traffic accident, unless all the lanes are blocked, be kind, let other people in, and we should keep the traffic moving. Okay. We have talked about this story before that I'm about to share with you about the Ohio Civil Rights Commission and the ongoing problems there under the director, a woman by the name of Angela Phelps White. She has fired or had people leave her agency, which, you know, what do you think the Ohio Civil Rights Commission does? Supposed to prevent workplace discrimination, but that is exactly what is alleged about Angela Phillips White's stewardship of said organization. Nearly every top executive staff member has left or been fired since Angela Phelps White took over as the agency director in March of 2020. There are multiple lawsuits, in fact, one that might become a class action lawsuit, but the state of Ohio investigated, and they found claims of retaliation by Angela Phelps White unsubstantiated. But they did note, according to Laura Bischoff of the Columbus Dispatch, that the agency is, quote, not functioning at maximum capacity. Well, we would like our agencies to function at max capacity. Here's an allegation that one executive made in her resignation letter 2 years ago. She says, for more than 2 years, I've been subjected to and work in an environment where there is bullying, harassment, disrespect, and secrecy. One of the investigators from the Ohio Civil Rights Commission filed a complaint in the Ohio Court of Claims saying that he'd been cheated out of overtime pay, that he was pressured to work by Angela Phelps White. The commission has paid $650,000 already to settle 2 other lawsuits. I'm curious. This is the point where I go, wait a minute. You've paid $650,000 to settle 2 lawsuits. You have other lawsuits pending. All the top people are alleging discrimination by the leader, and the state goes in and investigates, and they find nothing amiss? I guess investigator Barney Fife, couldn't find anybody to substantiate what is pretty clear to me is going on. What else is going on? The guy before, who did the job for 20 years without complaint, he retired. Then they brought in Angela, and she's not popular. It says here in this dispatch story, the commission hired attorney Christina Coral to conduct an internal investigation. And in her report, which came out in January of 2023, she said that Phelps White yells profanity, retaliates against employees who challenge her, and operates the agency with paranoia. She's hired by the Ohio Civil Rights Commission to do an internal investigation in which she finds, in a report now more than 2 years old, that the director of the Ohio Civil Rights Commission yells profanity, retaliates against employees who challenge her, and operates the agency with paranoia. And yet, the final rendering is that a state investigation found the retaliation complaint unsubstantiated. Your own investigator. Is this acceptable behavior in state government? Yelling profanities, retaliating against employees who challenge you, and operate the agency with paranoia? Yet, even more remarkably than the finding by the state that nothing is amiss, Phelps White's personnel file lacks any disciplinary records or written performance reviews. I have a theory as to why Angela Phelps White still has her job. And that theory is, plainly stated, she's a black woman, and nobody in the state of Ohio wants to incur any criticism for firing a black woman who is the head of the Ohio Civil Rights Commission. Call me crazy, call me racist, I'm sure you will, but I'm just saying, if that person was not a black woman, they would be gonzo, okay? But Angela, she's got a great gig. She can cuss and swear and retaliate, and nothing in her personnel file. Nada.
With SRN News, I'm Mitch Thomason in Washington. A Trump tariff victory in the U.S. Senate, Republicans voting down a Democratic resolution would have blocked the president's tariffs. President Trump says his immediate predecessor is to blame for the economy's shrinkage in the first 3 months of the year. Treasury Secretary Bessent says a newly inked U.S.-Ukraine economic deal should send a message to Russia's Vladimir Putin that it's time to end the war in Ukraine. Oman's foreign minister says the next round of nuclear talks scheduled for Saturday between Iran and the U.S. have been postponed. Those talks were to have been held in Rome. A rally rolls on. On Wall Street, the key averages are sharply higher. The Dow is up 405 points, a gain of 1%. The Nasdaq ahead 470, and the S&P trading 88 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I've been thinking, why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? With mixed messages, fad diets, the quick fix injections, even magic coffee. I mean, it's overwhelming. Most people are exhausted trying to fight a battle they cannot win. If you feel this way, trust me, you're not alone. I used to feel that way too. But let me tell you, it's not your fault. Your body is working against you, and the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Do what I did. I called PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition 3 years ago. I lost 53 pounds. I feel terrific, and I've kept the weight off. Make the phone call that can change your life the way it has changed mine. They won't let you fail. Call 855-696-2020. That's 855-696-2020 to schedule your consultation. The first 11 callers who mention the word healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Call now, 855-696-2020. Mention the keyword healthy to get 2 free weeks. Or visit them at myphdweightloss.com.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
Has the recent storms impacted your house? The Metal Roof Company not only specializes in working with your insurance company, but also specializes in all trades on the outside of your home. Roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, windows. In some cases, we can install a metal roof for the same price as a shingle roof. So remember, folks, don't settle, buy metal. Call 614-721-ROOF or reach out to us on the web at themetalroofcompany.com.
Time is running out. Are you ready for an adventure of a lifetime this summer? Join me, Larry Elder, along with Mike Gallagher on the Patriots Alaska Cruise, August 16th to the 23rd. This is your chance to experience Alaska's breathtaking wilderness while engaging in exclusive conversations about America's future with some of the most respected voices in politics. But that's not all. Special guests Jennifer Horn and Joe Piscopo will be on board for this once-in-a-lifetime journey. Cabins are filling fast. Do not wait. Text travel to 94878 right now for details and to secure your spot. Explore majestic glaciers, fjords, and wildlife, all while discussing the most pressing issues of our time. Act now. Text the word travel to 94878 before it's too late. Text travel to 94878. Time is running out. Join me, Larry Elder, and Mike Gallagher on the Patriots Alaska Cruise, August 16th through the 23rd. See Alaska's stunning landscapes while engaging in powerful discussion on America's future. Text travel to 94878 right now.
He's the voice of a new generation, willing to fight for what's right in the greatest country ever conceived. He's Charlie Kirk, and you can hear him weekdays from 1 to 3 on your station for news, opinion, and passion. 98.9 FM, The Answer.
If you are looking to get new flooring in your home, new carpet, new wood look flooring, because hardwood is out, man. I mean, like, why would you put hardwood in your house? I know, luxury look, right? Well, let me tell you something. Luxury vinyl plank flooring has the same luxurious look of wood, but here are the advantages. A, it's waterproof. B, it doesn't scratch. C, you don't have to be out of your house for days on end to have hardwood installed or sanded down and restained. So that's why luxury vinyl plank flooring comes in all different colors, even can look like marble tile for your bathroom, is phenomenal. I sell a lot of it, and I love meeting you, and I've met some delightful people lately, and I had a delightful conversation yesterday with Beverly, who I'm going to get with very, very soon, and Julianne, who I'm going to get with very, very soon in terms of helping them with their flooring remodel. Go to brucehooley.com and click flooring. That's brucehooley.com, click flooring, and I would love to meet you and help you as well. Top story of the day happened just before the top of the hour. National Security Advisor Michael Walz, reported by multiple outlets, is out a couple of weeks after he's the guy who was deemed to be responsible for adding Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg. And Goldberg is the guy who came up with the suckers and losers hoax against Donald Trump. That Trump went to commemorate D-Day, or he's in Europe, and he referred to those who died as suckers and losers. That was a total made-up nonsense. Goldberg had no sourcing on it. And so Walz mistakenly, should I put air quotes around that? I don't know. I've never had this happen to me. Maybe you've had it happen to you. But the explanation we got on Michael Walz, including Jeffrey Goldberg, on the chat on a communication app for your mobile phone, text, cell phone, called Signal. So when you hear Signal chat, Signal is the platform on which people communicate. There are others. There's WhatsApp. There's Telegram. It's one of those. Okay. So when we were attacking the Houthis, I think it was on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, texts were going back and forth, communications going back and forth on Signal. Michael Walz, J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. And these text messages, not just that morning, but leading up to that day, had also been including Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic. Now, if you're a patriot, which Jeffrey Goldberg is not, you would respond and say, hey, I'm on this chat. This information looks like it could be top secret or may be secret. You know, I'm on a over here, like raise my hand like you can on Zoom. I'm not sure I should be on this, but Goldberg did. You know, I don't fault him, I guess. He's a journalist. He's got a story handed to him. He did not identify himself. And then when the attack played out, to his credit, I will say this to his credit, he didn't give pre-warning to anyone that, hey, we're attacking the Houthis. He waited till it was over, and then he was like, in retrospect, he wrote, look, I was included on chat. Okay, so the excuse for that, did I say excuse? I meant explanation for that, was that Michael Walz was entering a phone number in his phone, or it automatically entered in his phone, like, you know, how Google will automatically enter something on your calendar, where, you know, you get an email, you respond yes to it on a laptop or on a tablet, and then, oh, look at that, it's on my phone. So that was the plea that Goldberg was mistakenly added, and it really wasn't Walz's fault, but it happened through his phone. Well, he's now out. One of the other top lieutenants that Walz had as the National Security Advisor is also out. We know 5 people who were tippy top at the Defense Department and supposedly loyal to Pete Hegseth and to Donald Trump. They're out as well. So we got problems with national security. We got problems with buttoning it up. I know you want to say, well, it's deep state actors. There's problems with deep state actors, but this one is an own goal. And boy, the libs are going to love this. Love, 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 love this. But maybe they'll make the mistake of asking Stephen Miller about it, special advisor Donald Trump. Stephen Miller was at the White House this morning, and he was crushing it. I'll play some of those cuts because they're just delicious to listen to. But Trump yesterday, you might have missed this because the libs aren't going to tell you about it unless they complain. Trump signed an executive order yesterday that establishes a religious liberty commission. He signed it during the National Day of Prayer event in the White House Rose Garden. And Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick pushed him on this. Dr. Ben Carson, who previously served in the first Trump administration. Both those guys are going to head this up. And this is going to end what the Trump administration says, and what we all know, was the persecution, the identification of, and the persecution of people of faith under Joe Biden. Here's Stephen Miller Stephen Miller this morning at the White House talking about accomplishments of the Trump administration in the first 100 days, and noting that one thing that you, me, and other people of faith and conservatives no longer have to worry about is being targeted by the Department of Justice.
The president has also fought to return the Department of Justice to its core mission of protecting public safety and locking up violent criminals, instead of using the Department of Justice to target conservatives, to target Christians, to target people of faith. The last administration cruelly and shamefully used the power of the Justice Department to go after law-abiding Americans, in particular, Trump supporters, conservatives, and Christians. That persecution has ended. The Department of Justice and the FBI are back in the business of going after bad guys, of going after gangs, of going after criminals, and keeping Americans safe.
Yeah, I mean, it was believed that, J6ers, who were people of faith, got harsher sentences, were dealt with more harshly in confinement than others. I mean, every Jan 6er was dealt with harshly. It's indisputable that people who prayed outside abortion clinics were dealt with more harshly than those who rioted. Oh, the rioters under Joe Biden, they were just peacefully protesting. Stephen Miller with another overall thought on the arc of Trump's first 100 days.
When you look at the sweep of the first 100 days, every single crisis that has afflicted America for years, sometimes decades, sometimes generations, this president has fought head on. He has taken on every entrenched power structure and system all across this government, this swamp, this town. That includes, of course, the Doge efforts to slash corrupt, wasteful government spending, graft, and corruption, and to stop billions of taxpayer dollars from going to radical left NGOs. These are left-wing nonprofits that are used to advance illegal immigration, to advance open borders, to advance gender ideology, and to advance all of this insanity that has been turning our country in the wrong direction for so many years.
Now, I'm sure Stephen Miller is a great advisor to Donald Trump. If Caroline Leavitt ever decides she wants to just be a full-time mom, she's doing a great job too. Jack Windsor, who was at the White House, host of the Windsor Report here on The Answer, was at the White House on Friday of last week, says Caroline Leavitt's second in command is also brilliant. But Stephen Miller, can you imagine if you want to really thoroughly depress the press? Put Stephen Miller on the job of coming out every single day and talking to the press. That would, that would be phenomenal, because he would launch into laudatory tirades like this about Donald Trump's first 100 days, which, of course, the press has no interest in hearing.
These are just some of the things that have ushered in the new golden age, along with his fight to restore the peace that we had for 4 years under the previous administration before Joe Biden sunk this planet into bloodshed and war in the Middle East, in Europe, and rising tensions in Asia. President Trump, in every area of conflict around the globe, has been fighting to restore peace, security, stability, harmony. So he inherited an economic catastrophe, a border catastrophe, a public safety catastrophe, and a cultural catastrophe. And in every case, he has reversed those catastrophes and brought America into the new golden age.
That's without a teleprompter, folks. Like, that's all up there between Stephen Miller's ears. He's 39 years old, this guy. He's been I think the story on him rising to prominence is that he called in to somebody's radio show or podcast or something like that. And they were like, holy cow, this guy's super smart. And yeah, he is super smart. He was a big admirer of David Horowitz, who, by the way, was an awesome conservative crusader and a great thought leader. And David Horowitz passed away, I believe, yesterday or the day before. That's a loss for our movement. Stephen Miller was first in politics under Michelle Bachmann, who was a great representative from Minnesota. She now has transitioned into other activities. I actually know somebody who knows her. Maybe I'll try to get her on the show, get her thoughts on Donald Trump and on Stephen Miller, because I love this guy. I absolutely love this guy. You're going to hear more from Stephen Miller as the show progresses. He got all over the press about what they're not covering. And, guess who was back in the news yesterday? That's right. The people who could have been president and vice president, Kamala and Tim Walz.
This afternoon, heavy thunderstorm. We could see some downpours, hail and damaging wind, a high 78. Breezy this evening, a thunderstorm, otherwise cloudy, low tonight 61. Variable cloudiness, a breezy day tomorrow. A couple of brief showers in the morning. Thunderstorm for the afternoon, high 75. Shower and thunderstorm on Saturday. Periods of clouds and sun by the afternoon, high Saturday at 66. Clouds and showers Sunday, high 66. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
In fact, please allow me, friends, to digress for a moment. Okay. It's kind of dark in here, but I'm asking for a show of hands. Who saw that video?
Answer. Using over 30 years of trusted real estate agent experience in Central Ohio, I'll share invaluable insights into the ever-evolving local real estate market, provide you with current trends, and bring industry experts who will share their wisdom on the art of buying and selling homes. Join me every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. right here on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Salem News Channel is America's fastest growing conservative TV network.
It's an absolute crazy day.
Home to the largest lineup of free speech champions anywhere. Delivering in-depth insight and unapologetic opinion on today's biggest news stories.
Americans aren't going to put up with this anymore.
SNC brings you the news that matters, told with integrity and clarity. Watch Salem News Channel free 24/7 on your television. Stream now on Zumo Play.
Here's great news. If you're planning to attend Valor Christian College as a new student this fall semester, you can receive a $5,000 tuition scholarship for only $2,500. That's right, $2,500 off your first semester for all new students. One scholarship per student, all Valor Christian College admission requirements must be met. Whether you're interested in preparing to enter the ministry or want to delve deeper into God's calling on your life, Valor Christian College in Canal Winchester may be for you. To learn more, click on shopping at 9890theanswer.com.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students...
Everybody's fascinated by this Bill Belichick girlfriend story. People are trying to I can't figure this out. You can't figure out like a 70-plus-year-old dude with a very attractive young girlfriend who's under 30? Like you have trouble figuring that out?
Their parents and even teachers.
Okay.
Take the pledge to be kind.
I'm not sanctioning it. I think it's creepy and weird. Does she have parents? But like... Well, I just went to 9890theanswer.com. And if you go to the More tab and then to the Contests and Sweepstakes tab, that's where you will find the almost secret hidden pathway to entering the Mother's Day cash giveaway sweepstakes. Yes! Now, I just gave you the inside scoop on how to find it. But would you like to put $2,000 in mom's pocket? And maybe, since it's your mom, and she's a wonderful, wonderful woman, as all moms, well, most moms are. My mom is, your mom is. Moms who abandon their kids, moms who murder their children, not so much. Well, we're not giving them any money, but we'd love to give your mom money. So go to 9890theanswer.com, click on the More tab, then the Contests and Sweepstakes tab. You say, man, you're making it hard. Yeah, well, hey, you want to have a better chance to win or not? That's how you get there. The Mother's Day cash sweepstakes giveaway at 9890theanswer.com. Remember, click More and then Contests and Sweepstakes. Speaking of moms who we don't want to give any money to, or anything as precious as the United States presidency to, Kamala was out in public last night. Now, this is not, it's been billed as her first speech. It's not really her first speech. It's like her, I don't know, what's the bar? Like her first big speech. She's been out and around, you know, when sober, which probably explains why she hasn't been out and around very much. I don't know if she was sober last night or not. You'll be able to judge from the sound I'm soon to play for you. But did I stay up to watch this? No, I did not. Because her speech at the 20th anniversary gala for Emerge America, an organization that assists Democratic women in running for office, did not begin until 10 p.m. I have no interest in supporting, even with my time, Democratic women running for office because, let's see, can I think of a Democratic office holder who's female that I would have anything in common with? AOC, it's a big no. Pramila Jayapal, Ilhan Omar, Nancy Pelosi, Allison Russo. What's the despicable representative from Ohio? Nikki somebody. Sykes, Amelia Sykes, no. Marcy Kaptur, no. It's a no across the board. So I didn't stay up. I went to bed after watching Sergei Bobrovsky and the Florida Panthers put the Tampa Bay Lightning asleep for the season. But here was Kamala, one of the highlights from her speech. Let's see. Does this inspire you or no?
Always remember, this country is ours. It doesn't belong to whoever is in the White House. It belongs to you. It belongs to us. It belongs to we, the people.
That's an applause line. Didn't get much applause. Then she, well, I'm not sure what she was doing here, but whatever it was, it fell pretty flat. Oh, there you go. You missed the cackle? I didn't miss the cackle. An elephant at the San Diego Zoo. That's what's been on her mind. You want to give that woman the nuclear codes? No. That was one of the things Stephen Miller was reflecting on today at the White House. He was asked, did you watch Kamala's speech? And if you did, what did you think of it?
It was a helpful reminder of just what a travesty and a tragedy that would have been. It would have been the end of America. And it gives me a chance to bring this whole thing home. If we continued on this road of radical regulation, choking off American energy, sending our supply chains to foreign countries, taxing our economy to death, pushing this cancerous woke ideology on our children, ending merit, ending scientific innovation, ending public safety, allowing, everyone goes to the stores these days, everything's locked up, criminals roam free, law-abiding citizens under the previous administration were punished while gangbangers were given red carpet treatment. Democrats, of course, are still giving gangbangers red carpet treatment. And then the border invasion. If those policies had continued, it would have been the end of the American Republic. And the only thing Americans want to hear from Kamala Harris is an apology for joining Joe Biden. And remember, she was the border czar, joining Joe Biden in aiding and abetting the invasion of our country. And we're never going to stop talking about this because what they did to this country is unforgivable. It is an eternal stain on the Democrat Party. Every day we read another story. Every day we arrest another alien they let into this country who raped a child, who beat a woman within an inch of her life, who murdered a mom, who murdered a dad, who trafficked drugs into this country, who trafficked fentanyl into this country, who are responsible for dead and slaughtered Americans. And I don't know what's broken in the Washington press corps, that none of that moves them emotionally. The only thing that gets them exercised is, do we need to have more trials for terrorist supporters? We need to have more trials for gangbangers. We need to have more trials for illegal alien invaders, even though Congress and the Constitution clearly say that you can expel invaders and illegal aliens quickly, efficiently, and properly. This president has literally saved America, and I could not be prouder. I could not be prouder, as I know Caroline feels the same way, to come every single day to this building where we have a leader sitting in office whose first, last, and every thought is the safety, prosperity, security, and sovereignty of the citizens. That's an important word, people. Citizens of this republic. Thank you all.
Mic drop moment by Stephen Miller this morning at the White House. He's so right. He's so right on all of that. You wind him up and he goes, and it's phenomenal. Unfortunately, Tim Walz, the would-be vice president, was also speaking last night at a Harvard forum where he explained why he was on the Democratic ticket.
You put your input in, running a campaign that had never been run before, 100 days, in the situation we were at, running against a very unusual opponent on the other side. And look, my job was to do, look, I knew I was on the ticket. I would argue because we did a lot of amazing progressive things in Minnesota,
so amazing
people's lives. But I also was on the ticket, quite honestly, you know, because I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that I could put them at ease. I was the permission structure to say, look, you can do this and vote for this. And you look across those swing states, with the exception of Minnesota, we didn't get enough of those votes.
Yeah, in other words, I was code talking to white guys, and they were like, no way, I ain't voting for you, and I ain't voting for her. But wait. If you think that's the stupidest thing Tim Walz is capable of saying, he kept talking, and he kept escalating the stupid.
I think after the fact, it is not second guessing or anything. I think it's fair to go back on and look at this. Look, we had the most qualified person who'd run for president in this country's history at the top of the ticket. That in itself should have got this thing won.
The most qualified person ever to run for president in U.S. history. Kamala Harris, superior to George Washington, to John Adams, to Thomas Jefferson, to Ulysses S. Grant, to Andrew Jackson, to Dwight Eisenhower, who only won World War II, to Ronald Reagan, to Barack Obama. That's blasphemy among Democrats. There could be nobody better than Barack Obama or Bill Clinton. He was so consequential to the Democratic Party, he could engage in sexual relations with an intern in the White House, and they fought to save him. He could perjure himself in a deposition and obfuscate over, well, that depends on what the meaning of is. The most qualified candidate ever to be president in the United States, who's talking about elephants at zoos in San Diego. You want to know? 102 days in, I've not stopped giving thanks that Walz and Harris didn't win.
I'm CPA Brad Henneberg with Premier Tax CPAs. And the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just at tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on your financial.
All right, everybody, that'll do it.
Business decisions, just like
I'm having an awesome day. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I'm gonna have an awesome weekend. I'll tell you about it on Tuesday. I'm out Monday. And I'll tell you why I'm out Monday on Tuesday. So everybody have a great day, and see you soon.
Money saving options you may not have ever considered.